Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page, where I, on a weekly basis, live stream my show, Communications from Home. Tonight is Tuesday, October 9th, and the day before publication of the Star Nations magazine. Yay! It's one of my favorite times of the month, that one day, the 10th. Is when we publish that month's issue of Star Nations magazine. We're on the downslide of publishing, and we're almost ready. We just have a few things to get done, and we have a few hours to do that in. Yeah, it's fun stuff though. I enjoy it a lot. Welcome to Communications from Home. I was just wondering, as I was waiting for time to go by, about asking a question to the audience members, those in the live chat, about the golden light. And that's what tonight's show is all about. And let me just write this in here. And that's the name of the show, is Communications from Home. And I'm your host, Neshi Lokotz. Yay! All this stuff I should have had pre-prepared, but you know how that goes. Hey, Connie. Hello, Connie. Connie is one of our live stream show hosts here at Star Nations Radio Network live stream shows, Spiritual Mysteries of Life. And her show is the last Thursday of the month at 10:30 Eastern Time. And so Connie is so sweet. She tries to make as many of our live shows as possible. And if she can't make it to a live show, she watches it on the archives, which is the recorded live stream, right? And we all do that practically, because we can't make everyone show exactly when it's on. But you know what? Those recorded shows, those are good, aren't they? Because when you're busy, you can always go back and play it. And even if you don't watch the video, you hear it, right? And you can do something else while you're listening. So for those in the live chat, and also who'll be watching the recorded video, would you mind doing me a favor and liking and sharing the show? And the reason why we even ask that, because we all do on all of our shows, we ask that you share and you like the broadcast. And the reason is that it's kind of like a civil servant work, sort of light worker work. Energy worker work. When we share the live stream on our timelines, or maybe share it to a friend or something like that, it helps others to find our show is much easier, because we end up in the news feed more often. And so it's just easier for someone else who might be brand new, right, to the shows. And oops, I need to go and get to the right page here. All right, so I'm doing the same thing. I'm using my phone. And here we are. I'm liking, and I'm going to share it to my timeline first, so that all my friends will know, and to my newsfeed. And so I'm just going to say, hi, friends. Friends, I'm live streaming right now. And it's please join me. There we go. And I'm going to post that. And then I'm going to share it to the Star Nations Radio Network closed group, because that's where most of our active members in our community hang out. So I'm just going to say, hi, peeps. Because why? Because they're my peeps. And just let them know that I'm live streaming. And to please join me. There we go. It's pretty quick, actually. And I think I'm going to share it to the Academy too. Whoops, not that one. Rats. That's what I get for going too fast. All right, that's done. Excellent. So, We had a bit of a busy weekend here this weekend. Polly Jola Bay was in from Massachusetts, and she was teaching for the first time here at Star Nations Academy, where I'm broadcasting from. And she was teaching the Mystical Healing, Energy Healing 101. And basically, it was about our chakras and clearing any blocks from our chakras. Most of them are emotional or mental, right? And so it was a full weekend. And let me tell you, if you ever want to do a healing, deep root healing, that is Polly Jola Bay. She really took us to the root of one of the most outstanding issues that we could kind of say, I would like to do this, but I'm not sure what's stopping me, right? And so, yeah, it was really good. Very, very good. Pretty deep stuff. And so if you ever get a chance to join her, I would highly suggest it. And also, for those who watch her Wednesday night shows and her noon Tuesday shows, that when she's doing her clearing, sometimes one of the spirit helpers that she has, who is called the Ancient One, was present. And I have to say, being with him was almost like pure love. Okay, because it's kind of like when you know somebody for a really, really long time, and your life takes you in opposite directions, right? Maybe you're living, one on East Coast, one on the West Coast, or something like that, and you don't get to see each other very often in person. But when you do, it's like you just pick up where you left off, and you just enjoy being with them. It was kind of like that. Yeah. It was pretty cool. Yeah. And Jane's here. Hey, Jane. Good to see you in the chat. Oh, she says, I'm not getting an option to post to timeline, only send it to specific people. That's interesting. Are you using your phone? That's interesting. Because if you're using your phone, whoops, got to turn down my sound. Get all squelchy. When you're using your phone and you're sharing it, sometimes like what I'm seeing on my phone is write a post or copy a link, and then underneath it there's a list of names, right? That's probably what you're looking at. If you go back trying to go backwards. Okay, if you rather than clicking on the actual video to start playing it, right, and you're just at the fan page, what you can do is like it from there, and that it will give you more options from that page. So like what I'm seeing right now is I have the like button, and then I have comment and share. And when you hit share on that, then you can write a post, share to a group, or copy a link. Okay, I know Facebook is kind of funny that way, isn't it? It's not exactly easy sometimes to use. That's for sure. You're using the iPad, same thing as your phone. If you go back to the fan page, the main page, and like and share from there, you'll get more options. It's when you're actually playing the video, when you tap on it and it takes you to the video, that's when you get only 2 options. I found that out by accident a few months ago. Because I couldn't figure out how to get to share to my timeline, and it was difficult. So anyway, give that a try. Otherwise, when it's all done, then you can share it out. That'd be fine too. I appreciate you even trying, Jane. Really, I do, because sometimes it gets frustrating, doesn't it? Okay, and Karen just joined us. Hi, Karen. All right, so tonight's show, I should say, is about the golden light, and how I even got to that topic. It was a busy weekend, right? And Sunday night, I realized, I didn't even promote my own show for Tuesday night. What topic should we talk about? And so I kind of got quiet, and I asked my spiritual team, What is a topic that is important to share with others? And what they gave me was this phrase, experiencing the golden light, experiencing the golden light. And so it gave me, like I said, Sunday night, Monday, and part of today to kind of sense, what does that really mean, experiencing the golden light? And for me, where it took me immediately was when we're doing the meditation, the unity breath, and we're bringing images of Grandfather Sky, the Gamisho Mase Nan, or the another term is Wankantanka, right? And we're really looking at all of creation coming from the Creator or from God, if that's the term you use, whatever you call the divine, okay? When we're bringing those images that we just love and appreciate about Grandfather Sky, many times what I sense or feel when his love is coming to me is I feel this golden, glittery, sparkly light coming down through my crown chakra, right? And it fills me. It comes through me, and it connects me to the earth. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, good. Jane says, shared it on the timeline. Good for you. Thanks for being so persistent with it. Yeah. Way to hang in there, Jane. And so when that golden light is coming through me, years ago, one of the things that I learned about balancing is that we can, in our imagination, we can imagine that golden light that's flowing through us down from Grandfather Sky is, we can imagine a gentle spiral for women clockwise and for men counterclockwise. And what that does is that golden light spiraling through you will balance you and then connect you back down into the earth to grandmother, right, as it's flowing through you. And when I first started thinking about that phrase, experiencing the golden light, that was the first one that came to me. That was the first one. Because even now, when I turn my attention to it, what it always feels like to me is the shimmery golden light, sparkly golden light. Blessings, right? That's another thing that comes to me, is that it's filled with blessings, the golden light. So have you ever been outside on a sunny day, or maybe even when the sun is rising, and it breaks the horizon and it starts to get very bright? Have you ever stood in the sunshine? And what does that feel like? To me, that was the second thing that came to me, was when we're literally soaking up the rays, that golden light, and what it feels like, because sometimes, have you ever been really, really busy during the day and you just want to take a little bit of a break, and you step outside and you feel the warmth of the sun on you? That to me is experiencing the golden light, where you feel the warmth, and even we turn into it, don't we? We turn so that it washes over our face and the front of us, and many people, that's where you see them holding out their hands, holding out their hands in accepting the golden light, and also at sunrise and sunset, and sunrise is greeting the light, and at sunset is being thankful for the light, right? Yeah. Have you guys done that? Those in the chat room, holding your hands out to the sun? I'm still integrating the healing from this past weekend, so I'm drinking lots of water, and I can kind of feel it in my throat. It's not quite a sore throat, but you can kind of feel it back there. So I'm pausing every once in a while to take a drink of water. So experiencing the golden light, those are the two things that came to me in that experiencing. Um, there have been pictures also of individuals, people, the two-legged, the two-legged. Sometimes they're in a house of worship, right? Whether it's a Christian church or if it's a temple or something like that, and the sun is coming through one of the upper story windows, and you get the shaft of light, and you can see it coming down, and sometimes it actually shines on a specific person. Um, or it just floods that room with that brilliant light. To me, that is another experiencing the golden light, because there's a moment that when you look at it, you can feel the creator in it. You can feel the sacredness of it, right? Yeah. And it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Hey, Terry Brown, good to see you in the chat room. Hello. Welcome to the show. And we're talking about experiencing the golden light. And there's many, many ways to experience it. It's just not one, right? And so in my experiencing it has been mostly done through the meditation, the unity breath, and feeling the grandfather skies energy flowing through me. And I always sense it as that golden, sparkly light, shimmery golden light. There's another one, and there's another term that came to me when I was preparing for the show, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's called The Golden Child. It's an old movie with Eddie Murphy, The Golden Child, and how this little boy who wasn't really a little boy, really, he was a reincarnated monk, Buddhist monk, I should say. And there was times when he had to concentrate and shine his light from the inside, right? From the inside, glowing from the inside out. Yeah, Jane, it is a cute movie. It really is. There are aspects to that movie that was like, holy cow, for them to make a movie like that back then. I think it was in the 80s or early 90s. That was a holy cow, because there were some things that they mentioned in there and depicted that were pretty close to the truth, right? Yeah. There's lots of pieces of that movie that people talk about too. So anyway, the golden light, we can have that light within us already. As above, so below, as within, so without, right? That came to us from Thoth. And so we have that golden light within us, that inner sun. Have you ever heard of it talked about that way? It's the inner sun that we have within us. And many people put it right, kind of in the solar plexus area, that inner sun. Some people put it in the dantian, which is, just below the belly button, I believe. It's not quite your sacral, but it's kind of in between the two, the dantian. Yeah, the golden light. Those in the chat, have you experienced the golden light? And if you have, can you share, just a little bit about when that occurred and how it occurred? Because for me, I think that in sharing those stories, it does a few things. One, we don't feel like we're all alone in sharing something pretty phenomenal. Okay. There are times, sometimes when it first occurs, you want to share it with somebody, but you're not sure exactly who would really understand it, right? Yeah, Terry's saying inner light. Yes, absolutely. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so we have the sun, and some might actually call it the central sun that we find within. Um, the Maya believed in the central sun. Yeah. And so we get to radiate that brilliance, that golden light from within. We get to shine that light, right? And every time we use our gifts that we came in with, and we use it in service to others, is when that light becomes the most brilliant. Wouldn't you say? That's been my experience anyway. Is that when we use our gifts that we came in with, those things, our abilities that come really easy to us. Sure, we sometimes we have to learn more about them to truly master them, but when we first experience them, they're pretty easy to remember information about them. And sometimes we don't even realize they're a gift because it comes so easily. Like, for instance, for me, I've always been really good at solving puzzles. Always. Even as a young child, solving puzzles. I was one of those kids, in those tests on spatial, being able to, you know, to line up the spatial stuff on tests and things like that. I was always good at it. And so that also makes me really good at connecting dots of information. And so to see the puzzle and to see it in its fullness and to be able to solve the puzzle pretty easily, that's a gift. A fun gift, but that's a gift. And so when I'm taking in information, I can connect even the subtle things together to get more of the fuller picture, right? Been very helpful in feng shui, very helpful in space clearing, and very helpful for laying out a magazine. That's a gift. Some people have the gift of languages. It's really easy for them to learn a foreign language, a language that they were not born to. Like most of us are born with English as our primary language. There's others that were born with other languages as their primary, but it's really easy for some people to learn another language and to use it, right? So that, to me, that's a gift. Another gift, more on the spiritual basis, is hands-on healing. It's easy to pick up a class to learn about it. There's some people who haven't even taken a class, and they can put their hands on somebody who may be in pain, and they know exactly innately know what to do. When you ask them, they say, "I don't know. I just felt like I needed to move my hands there," or I needed to use this specific oil on my hands or on the person. They really don't know why they're doing it, but they're doing it and it works. That's a gift. So when we use our gifts in a good way, as they say, when we're in service to others, I believe that's when we shine that inner light. Yeah. I was just thinking, I wish I could remember the ice skater's name. A few years ago, there was a young female skater from the States, and it was in the Olympics, and she was not really seen as a strong competitor, although she made it to the finals, and she just went out there and just skated with her heart. And you could tell, there were standing ovations for her before she even finished, and she took the gold. Watching her, you could see it. You could see her shine. And to me, that is when somebody is experiencing the golden light. It is shining from the inside out. Yeah. Yep. Experiencing the golden light. One of the things that happens, I believe, when we're taking in the golden light is that Of course, there's blessings that come with it too, right? But it also depends on your intention for it, because we can intend for it, for our conscious mind to turn our attention to it, because I believe it's constantly flowing. It's always there. It's when we turn our attention to it and that we can actually consciously feel it, see it, sense it. In fact, let's do that right now. Are you guys game? Let's do that. For those that are in the live chat, no matter where you're sitting, unless you're driving, that might not be such a good thing if you're driving, is to put both feet flat on the floor. Yeah. Lisa says, I feel like, oh, I forget I'm using Be Live, our partners at Be Live. I can show your comments. Lisa says, I feel like when we heal others, we heal ourselves and Mother Earth too. Absolutely. I totally agree with you, Lisa. I do. Because we're bringing in that creator light through us, right? Yeah. All right. So let's try that. So if you put your feet flat on the floor, and if you can sit as straight as possible, okay? And I think let's just take one big deep breath in first and really blow it out, just to kind of bring our focus back to the moment, okay? So here we go. Big deep breath in, okay? Hold it just for a second and then blow it out. Okay? You can do that one more time. Big deep breath in. And really blowing it out. Good. Just so that we come back to this present moment that we're in. Okay? And just turning your attention to Grandfather Sky. Okay? To the divine, to the creator. And just sensing, feeling, seeing that golden light coming through you, down through the top of your crown chakra, down through your crystalline tube, your pranic tube, your hara line. Yeah. And some people actually get the sensation, the feeling at their crown chakra. Sometimes it's kind of like a pulsing. And just notice what it feels like. For those who see color, see it in color. Notice the color. And with your intention, asking your spiritual team for a gentle spiral. For women, for the females, clockwise, and for the guys, counterclockwise. It's a gentle spiral. As it flows through you. Yeah? Yeah, Lisa's asking, the golden light the same as the white light? It can be. The golden light is more of the blessings. Some people, when they talk about the white light, they're talking about the creator's protection. The creator's protection in the white light. The golden light is about the blessings coming down from the creator. Yeah. And, from a Native American point of view, it's coming from the creator through Grandfather Sky, through Gamisho Masay Nan. That's the Potawatomi word. Um, and so it's coming down through the grandfathers. Yeah. And just notice it. There's nothing you have to do with it or do about it or anything like that. It's just turning your attention to it and noticing the flow, because it's happening all the time. It's a constant flow. Anytime, especially those who do hands-on healing, that is where we get the healing energy from. We tap into that. And the thing is that when we tap into that energy flow, rather than our personal energy, um, we don't get fatigued. We don't get drained, right? When we're not using our own personal energy, but we're tapping into the creator energy, that golden light. Yeah. And it's always there. I had a friend of mine who has since walked on. She used to teach um, Tai Chi. And she told me a story one time that she was teaching here in Toma and La Crosse, but she was also teaching and taking classes from her sensei down in Madison. And she was driving back and forth, and that's about an hour and a half or 2 hour drive, depending on what side of Madison you're going to. And she said she was so tired, and yet she had to teach a class. And so what she did, and she was doing energizing her dantian, okay. And basically, what she was doing was she was turning her attention to that golden light and tapping into it. And there's I can't remember what it's called, but you're moving your hand, your arms back and forth, and kind of rocking on from the balls of your feet to your heel. So it's kind of a rocking motion, and you're building up, intentionally building up the core energy at your power center at the dantian. And she says that when you do that, it's kind of like a surcharge. It kind of gives you a boost of energy. And so I had to try it, of course, and it works. It works. Um, so you're tapping into that golden light, and we can do that all the time if we remember. And that's the key, isn't it? Remembering. Yeah, remembering. Well, you're welcome, Lisa. You're very welcome. And so, for those who took the opportunity to turn their attention to that flow of golden light through you, because it's still flowing, it's constant. When you turn your attention to it, notice how it feels. Notice how your energy shifted a bit, only because you brought your mental mind to the focus. Yeah. Carol Daly. Hugs, 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 Carol Daly. Carol is a good friend of mine. She says, yes, Neshi, thank you. We place attention to what it is we choose to support. Much love. Oh, thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And so when we choose to be consciously aware of that golden light, we can, even just turning your attention to it, you don't even have to, intentionally tap into it, especially when you're doing, healing work. But you can tap into it anytime, any place. All you have to do is turn your attention to it and remember it's there. That it's there. And if you are fatigued, if you are tired, and I did this yesterday because I still had the magazine to work on light last night, is turning your attention to it, and yeah, and just feeling it, and knowing that it's nurturing you. Yeah. Feeding your soul and your physical body in a way that food and water feed our physical body. This feeds our spiritual body. It also feeds our emotional body. And yes, it does. It does affect our physical body, but that's not the first body that gets nurtured by it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. There's how do I phrase this? We're feeding our spiritual body, and from a Native American point of view, in general, okay, for those of us who use tobacco, we'll put it that way, because not every Native American uses tobacco. Is that when we give tobacco to in prayer, and we're giving it to the plant medicines, and we're giving it to the animal medicines, and to the four directions, and to the spirit of, right, is that we're feeding their spirit, because the tobacco was given to the two-legged, to the human, from the creator, and it was given to us and so that we could do the energy exchange with spirit, because spirit can't doesn't have access to the physical plant, the physical tobacco. It has access to the spiritual frequency, the spiritual vibration of the tobacco. And so, in a way, the golden light is that way for us, is that spirit has it. They have it all the time, full access to it all the time. And so do we, except we have to turn our attention to it. We have to be aware of it. And so it's given to us to be able to feed us spiritually. Okay, here we go, Terry. Let's see. I'm not sure if I can show this whole thing. I'm going to try. No, that's going to be kind of hard. All right, I'm going to read it for everybody, okay? So Terry is saying, yes, several, but one in particular. As I rose to give the eulogy for my mother who had transitioned, my granddaughter, who was 3, had been sitting on my lap. I was to pass her to her mom when I was to speak. When I stood, she wrapped her legs and arms around me. Nothing was going to break her hold. I wrapped my arms around her and stepped to the podium and ad-libbed. Instead of following the piece I had written, my mother, grandmother, and guides came into me, and instead of fear of talking or grief overwhelming, I felt joy and began to talk about the connectedness of us all. Past generations lending their gifts to us, and how we pass them on to the following generations. With my granddaughter in my arms, my mother's spirit and guides feeding into us, I felt the energy flow from me to everyone present. We healed as we shared an amazing woman's life experiences. It was a shared amazing experience. It had happened before, but this was the first time I was aware while it occurred. Terry, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. Yeah, and to be able to share that with the rest of the family and friends that were there, it's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Really, thank you for sharing that, because I'm sure that others have felt something very similar. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was just making sure I was caught up with comments. And so we feed ourselves spiritually. Now, remember, it's always there. It's always there. We just have to remember to turn to it, to turn our attention to it, our focus to it, and to feed our souls, to feed our spirit. Yeah. And it does affect our physical body. It does. But that's not the body that gets fed first. Yeah. Yeah. So many people wonder about that connection between some Native Americans and tobacco. And that particular plant, um, for a long time, only grew here um, on Turtle Island, North America. And they say that the creator gave the plant to the people, and it was the native people, right? And they were taught how to use it. And so, in the using of it was actually, it's kind of like the energy exchange. And so, when we ask spirit, when we pray for something, we request something, and we give tobacco for it, that is an energy exchange between us and all the rest of our relatives. Not just spirit, but the plants, the water, the stones, um, the four-legged, those who swim, those who crawl, those who fly. The tobacco is given to all things under creation, so that in fact the whole universe, because we give to the stars, the moon, the sun, and so that energy exchange that we have, literally the entire universe comes to us to assist. And so when we give tobacco, we don't give it lightly. We don't give it as a second thought, right? Yeah. It's pretty special. It's pretty special when we give tobacco. And so many times we give it for others, and not just for ourselves, but most of the time it's for others, in prayer for them. Yeah. In fact, my mom, she gives tobacco quite a bit and always has. For those that are the hurricane that hit Puerto Rico last year, that was a big one for her because so many people were suffering and still are. And she gave for that. I remember one time there was one of the larger earthquakes that happened in Russia, and she gave for that. When the flight 370 went down and was unrecovered, and they didn't recover any bodies either, it really, really affected her, and so she gave tobacco for that. But she also gives tobacco for her children and her grandchildren, and so it's it's done very consciously. Lisa's asking, does it matter what kind of tobacco? Well, you don't want to use chewing tobacco. Don't want to use that. Why? Because it's damp and it's sticky. It doesn't work very well. We try to use tobacco that doesn't have chemicals in it. So there's certain brands that are more organic and chemical and pesticide free. What is it? Native Spirit or something like that. There's a certain brand. But you know what? My grandparents, my great-grandparents, they didn't have that. They would do Prince Albert in the can. It was pipe smoking tobacco to get it plain, not the kind that's flavored or has a certain additives in it to make it smell a certain way. So just pipe tobacco is good. Pipe tobacco. If you can get homegrown tobacco, they call it Indian tobacco. Kind of a misnomer sometimes, right? Indian, but Native American tobacco. They're heirloom seeds that you can't purchase it. It's not meant to be purchased, the seeds. You can do an energy exchange for it. You can gift them something to get the seeds. Yeah. So, and so if you have a garden, you could plant your own small patch of native tobacco. That's what we did. And I still have some left. I don't grow it every year because a little goes a long way. A little goes. And the seeds, you'll have more seeds than you actually have tobacco leaves. So that there, you can do that. You can do that. Yeah, the golden light. Hmm. You know, a long time ago when I was doing some research on a phrase that was given to me in a dream, and that phrase was, um, I was just going to say it and I forgot it. It was 12, 12 gifts in a song. 12 gifts in a song. And anyway, I was doing the research on it and what that phrase meant. And I ran across some information, and it's called sonoluminescence. Sonoluminescence. And it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know anything like that existed. Sonoluminescence is when, and it's part of a science that that's being constantly researched. Um, what it is that scientists, what they did is, and it's an experiment, they took liquid like water and they vibrated it, they shook it. And at first it was just the shaking. There was nothing added to it. It was just the shaking, the vibrating of the water, and shaking it hard enough so that it would create bubbles. And in the bubble creation, and they had a camera on it, and they were constantly taking pictures of this water that was being shaken so that bubbles would be created. And when a bubble would pop, when it would burst, what they caught on camera was a burst of light. A burst of light. That's how they got sonoluminescence, the term. And then what they started doing is they started adding music to it. Rather than just shaking the water, they used the vibration of music to the water for the bubbles to form. And certain music, of course, created more bubbles than others. But the bubble bursting still had that flash of light. Yeah. And so I was watching this and I was thinking, oh my goodness, when you're talking about sacred geometry and you have the Vesica Pisces being created, there literally is, they say that is where the term "let there be light" came from, is because it's a spark of creation. A spark of creation. Yeah. And so I was putting those two things together, connecting the dots. Now, Lisa, this was actually a white light. But when they as time moved forward and technology improved, and being able to take the pictures the way that they were taking the picture, what they also found was that there was around the white light is a gold color around the white light. So I thought, oh my goodness, who knew anything like that was out there? I certainly didn't until I started doing the phrase with rain. I'm being corrected. Rainbow 12 gifts in a song was the phrase I was given. Rainbow 12 gifts in a song. And when I was studying, researching the rainbow part and the song part, is when I ran across this sonoluminescence. Yeah, golden light. Aronson, yes, I use Spirit American tobacco. That's it. Yeah, because there's no additives to it, and that's the one I prefer to use. But you know what? In a pinch, it's more about the intention than anything else. Because I usually carry tobacco with me, but there have been those times when I didn't, and so I would borrow a cigarette from somebody, and I would take the filter off and take the tobacco out of the cigarette and use the tobacco from the cigarette. And so your intention is what's most important. because it's better to give the tobacco than not give it at all. Because you can also clear the tobacco. It takes a little bit, but you could clear the tobacco from the vibration of the pesticides and the additional stuff they put in it. Yeah. All right. Let's see. And Terry is saying, is tobacco representing a sacrifice? If so, is it the intent that really matters versus the actual item of tobacco? I think I just answered that, didn't I? The sacrifice. I suppose, when we think about the plant itself and how it's planted, it's taken care of, it's grown, it's watered, and at the moment when the leaves begin to turn color is when it's harvested. So yes, in a way, we are using the life force of the plant. And the plant itself was given from the Creator to the people, to the Native people. And yeah, so it really is it's the energy. And you're right, the intent is much more important. Much more important. It's in that energy exchange. And you know how my Misha, my grandfather, explained it to us was is that every people, in quotation marks, every people have a way to do that exchange with spirit. For Native Americans east of the Mississippi, we use tobacco. For Native Americans west of the Mississippi, they use willow, called conchacha. Okay. And for the Southwest, they use cornmeal, usually blue. For different religions across the world, they use other things. Some use flowers. Some use coin. So there's this energy exchange. And so, yeah. In its pure form, I would say that it's your intention, it's your heart that is the most important. Mm-hmm. I just want to show this one too, because Karen actually uses the correct term for the product. It's Spirit American Tobacco. Yeah. And I hope I answered your question, Terry. If not, let me know, okay? And Lisa's saying, very cool. And Carol is saying, I remember the class you held at my then place in Madison at Quarry Arts. It was brilliant. Yes. Yep. Rainbow 12 Gifts in a Song. God, that was another lifetime ago, wasn't it, Carol? Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? That little group, are you still in contact with each other in some way? The activation of your Merkaba, the 12 strands DNA, that was some intense work. It really was. Hey, Carol, are you still taking clients and doing hypnosis for one? Because I want to interview somebody who is a longtime practitioner of hypnosis, and I was just wondering if you're still doing that kind of work. Terry saying thank you. You're welcome, Terry. Yes, it's honoring the life force. Absolutely. And that reminds me, Terry, is that in Hawaii, the kahunas, they use breath. They use their breath. It's a certain breathing pattern that creates a vital force surcharge, right? And so they use their breath to create that energy exchange. Let's see if I can remember this. It's in for 4, hold for 4, out for 8. And you do it 3 times. It's called the Huna breath. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 8. You do it 3 times. Yeah. Terry is saying, yes, absolutely. Great. It was a honor. It was an honor. Yeah, it was. It was. Just to be with you guys, and listen, Colleen, do you remember Colleen? She and I still are in contact, and um, a couple of the other women too. Yeah. Corey Arts Building. Oh my gosh. Haven't thought about that one in a while. And maybe we need to have you come up here, Carol, back up to Toma and teach a class here at Star Nations Academy. That would be like way cool. Or even do a healing kind of weekend or day if you still do the work, Because I know some people retire. I don't know if you have or not. So, experiencing the golden light. Just out of curiosity, those that are in the chat, how many of you do hands-on healing of one kind or another, whether it's Reiki or gentle touch or, some other form of it? Because I think that when you're using those kind of healing modalities in a conscious way, in a very deliberate way, right? With intention, I should say, is that you really are tapping into that golden light. And if you do, could you please, yeah, Jane, like Jane did, she says Reiki. If you could tell me, what kind of hands-on healing that you do, that would be good. And those of us who've never been trained in it, and you don't have a name for it, because that's me, is that I don't even know what to call it. I always get stumped by that one. Yes, I do hands-on healing, but I've never taken Reiki or hands-on. It's just been something that I've done naturally. Yeah, without a class. See, Mary Anderson Fry said the same thing. I have, but not trained at all. I know, we fall in the same group, don't we? And Terry, yeah, Julian healing. Thank you for that. And Lisa's saying yes. And yeah, Jane said Reiki, and Terry said yes. Okay. So it looks like a good portion of those people that are in the live chat, they do some sort of hands-on healing. And so we really are tapping into that golden light intentionally, having it flow through us, whether we're using symbols like in Reiki, or if we are being the conduit, that hollow bone for it. It flows through us with intention to heal. Someone who, in service to another person who may be in so much pain or too ill to really do it for themselves, right? Yeah. All right. And Carol says, hey, Connie does Reiki. Reiki. And Carol is saying, yes, I have a date at Earthsong next Saturday to offer Akashic record readings, right on with the breath work. Yes. And also I have retired often enough to return to the sacred work just as often. Oh, that's good. So I should call you. I should get a hold of you, and we'll set up when you can come up and teach a class or hold a weekend of readings or a day of readings. Jackie is saying, that's me. No name for it, no training, but see what needs healing. I know. I do it for my mom all the time. Lisa's saying Reiki and Christ Force healing. Then I make it my own and let spirit guide. Oh, that's perfect, Kurt and Lisa. Perfect. You're doing it with your heart. Karen said, I always did it naturally, but I have been trained now in many modalities as well. Well, that's great, because, there's, for someone who wants to know, how do I want to say this? Because, Karen, as well as I do, you don't need the piece of paper to say that you help people to create the space for them to be able to heal themselves, right? But there's those of us that in order to help teach someone else, we need the extra information to know more, a little bit more about it. It's called mastering that. Because, for me, I step in to help somebody who's in pain, to alleviate the pain, long enough so that they can, they're able to get, more professional help, right? But I'm not a teacher of it, so I don't need to know all of um, the official stuff to teach somebody, right? Carol says we all have the gift of healing. Yes, we do. Yeah, that we're going to do. Right on, Carol. Right on. Terry is saying yes, and Carol is saying so fabulous. I'd love it, Neshi. Yeah, me too. We're going to get you up here. And Diana, hi. Welcome to the show. How long have you been doing this? Okay, Diana, doing which part? Which part? And I'll be happy to answer that. Just give me a little bit more about what your question is. How long have you been doing this? If you're talking about the show, the live stream show, well, it's been a year. We were on Blog Talk Radio, Star Nation's radio network, was on Blog Talk Radio since February 2013. And we switched over to live stream here on Facebook last September. Mary is saying, the prior protection of oneself is so important, and I don't have that down so well. Yeah, the protection field, and to make sure you're grounded, sometimes when we're in an imbalance, or maybe we're not feeling quite well, stepping in to help somebody to heal, sometimes we need the healing ourselves. And so we need to know when to say when, right? Yeah. Yep. So it's the grounding work. Yeah. All right. And let's see, Karen. Karen is saying, absolutely. And as I am completely, my master healer is Polly Joe's school, and I'm also stepping into teaching. Yeah. And you got a good teacher there with Polly Joe. Yes, you do. And Mary saying, therefore, I'm exhausted after. Yeah, that means that you're using more of your personal energy than tapping into the golden energy. Yeah. Yeah, and that just takes experience, really, and making the intention, Yeah. And some teachers would say that you are putting your own personality, your ego, if you will, kind of to the side. It's not completely removed. It's like stepping just one step left or right. And what you're doing is you're leading with your heart, your soul, and tapping into that golden light and using creator energy, right, rather than your own. Yeah. Hey, Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. Diana said, do you do meditations, guided ones? Yes, I do. I do. I have been since 1980. Say I graduated in 87. So probably since 1985 or 6, something like that. It's been a long time. Yes, I do. And I do guided meditations here on live stream on the last Tuesday of the month. I do the guided meditation called Unity Breath Meditation. And so we do that. And I also am I was a certified teacher of Awakening Illuminated Heart for Drenville Melchizedek. But when I started taking care of my mom, it's hard for me to travel, to teach. And so I don't teach that quite as much. I'm going to plan on going back to it, but not right now. And Connie is saying, yes, the last Tuesday in month. Yeah, thank you, Connie. Let's see, what time on the last Tuesday? It would be at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central. It's this show that you're watching right now, but it's what we're doing is the guided meditation. Yeah. Yeah. And so what you could do, Diana, I'm sorry, is on the main fan page where we're doing the live stream from tonight, if you go to the main fan page, Star Nations, magazine, radio network, and publishing, public page, like it, and then what you can do is we'll click on the notifications. When you click on the notifications, it's going to be it's usually set at default, but if you set it at see first, when the notifications come up, you're going to be getting a pop-up notification that a show is going to get started. I think they do it like 20 minutes before a show begins, so you can do that and you'll get the notification. Yeah. So I know I'm just a little bit over on time. I wanted to thank you all for being here with me tonight and sharing about your experience with the golden light. And I just love it that we all have the opportunity and we have all embraced that opportunity to tap into it and to sense it, to feel it, to turn our attention to it, and also to be grateful for it, right? Because it's always there. It's constantly flowing through us. And so just it feels like a public announcement. It's not quite. So tomorrow is publishing day for the Star Nations magazine. It's the October issue, and I think we're going to be publishing probably late afternoon-ish tomorrow. And I think you guys are really going to like this October issue. We have a brand new columnist starting. Her name is Adrienne Campbell. She's a solitary witch, and the name of her new column is The Witch's Cauldron, and she's writing about Samhain. We have that, and we have a featured writer this month coming to us from Michigan, and that is Jessica Nakamp, and she is sharing with us about West Michigan red tent, and letting us know, sharing about what is the red tent. We all read the book, right? But there's actually groups called the red tent, and so we're going to be doing that tomorrow. You'll be getting notification on that too. I can guarantee you. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and please. On the 23rd, October 23rd, for this show, my guest is going to be Bob Huntington, and he is a medical intuitive. He is a lot of you know him as Dr. Bob from Michigan, and he's going to be my guest, and we're going to be talking about DNA. Yes, DNA stuff. So you watch for the information coming out. I'm going to be promoting it. I'm hoping sometime this weekend I should have something out. Yeah. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I get everybody's comments here before we say good night. Okay, and Carol's saying, often folk feel better with the idea of official training, and yet what is most required is to open and allow the process of spirit to move the energy through our authority of human for the sake of human. Ah, so good. Thank you, Carol. And Jackie is saying thank you. And Jane is saying, great conversation. Thank you. I know. Thank you for joining the conversation. You guys are what makes it great. And Rochelle says, thank you. Was out for dinner with my family. Wish I could have seen you. Oh, but you're here though, Rochelle. That's good. It's all good. And Mary is saying, I'm sorry I missed the main part of the show. You can always watch the recording. Yeah. It gets done automatically. As soon as we end here, it's recorded. And Diana said, your voice is so soft spoken. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's a good radio voice, really. I've been doing radio since high school. And I enjoy it. I also enjoy doing guided meditation. Connie says, thank you, Neshi. Lots of love and light. Same to you, Connie. Same to you. Terry, thank you. And Carol, much love to you too. With that, Enjoy the rest of your evening. And Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys. See you next week.